Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another series review. I just watched another episode of The Magicians, and this episode was called The Strangled Heart, and this had a lot of tie-ins with Fillory. And interestingly enough, one of the teachers is actually Jane herself. And I had a feeling that she was, just because of everything that she knew about the doorways to Fillory. And it didn't have to be a mirror, it could be through other avenues. And of course we saw how the beast was able to possess Mike, and it ended horribly for him, and seeing what Elliot had to do or face the consequences, it was terrible. I thought, yeah, it's the second time he's killed somebody, but this time it was somebody that was dear to him, and it was very emotional, and I cried. I admit to it, and I didn't expect that I would cry. There was an interesting part of this episode. You feel pity for Jules and just all of the travail that she's undergone. But she talks to the chaplain where she is. She's in rehab because she got addicted to drugs. I'm not sure what kind of drugs, because the episode doesn't ever specify. But this chaplain, he reveals to her a higher power, and she makes a circle of protection and draws in other circles. I was thinking, yes, alchemy. It reminds me of Brian Sanderson's I forget, it was a steampunk book, but the only one that he had written in the series, and I wish he had written more, but it was similar to that. And once she is done with her petition, she ends it with amen, and I thought that was funny because she's an atheist, and she doesn't really have any credence in any higher power until she levitates, and then she thinks, what have I unleashed? And she talks to I'm pretty sure that she knows now she's dealing with a pretty powerful magician. And then he mentions to her that where she learned magic to begin with, which was at Breakbills, it's as if they were drug dealers selling magic as their drug, and they fight over it, they buy it, they sell it, they screw over it. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty much true. And just seeing it from that perspective, it just gave a whole new kind of pall to Breakbills, even though I think that Breakbills is really quite fantastic. This episode was really, really good, though, because Penny actually reveals that he does have more redeeming qualities, especially when he's attacked by Mike in his possessed form with that the Virgil blade, which is from Fillory. And we learned through Quentin's expertise on all of the Fillory books that Jane was attacked by, it was probably the beast, but it was from a child's perspective that the books had been written. And she was stabbed with this Virgil blade, and rosy brambles started growing out of the wound, and it was supposed to strangle the heart where it would kill her. But she substituted the doll that she had, and of course Edith explains, Jane herself in Edith's form, this is in her incarnation. She says it's not the doll itself, but where the doll came from, that was what made it special. It was given to her by her mother before her mother passed away, and it was the last earthly thing that she had to remind her, the only thing that she left England with before she actually ventured into Fillory, and that was all she had. I thought, ooh, yeah, that would have been a huge comfort given the circumstances, and it was quite sensational. Then they realize they have to find something that Penny has that was worthwhile, and now he's with Karen again, and I don't know why I kept calling her Mallory. Mallory is another character, but her name is Karen, and Karen was the last person that he actually had anything to do with when he was over at Breakbill South, and that candy wrapper was from Breakbill South, and they're thinking that this can undo the damage done by the thorns that are growing out of his wound due to that knife, that enchanted knife. It was so funny. It's like Penny completely depends on him now, and he he says, "Okay, what does your stupid book say now?" And yeah, tables turned, isn't it? But actually, you saved Quentin without really thinking that you had the capability, and why did you do that if you don't care about him? And I think that he does. He really has a friendship with Quentin, although he's kind of reluctant to admit to it. But yeah, it's interesting to see the dynamic between the two, because they hate each other, but I think that there's some kind of, maybe a little bit of brotherhood, a bond, because they both have kind of, all the characters have some sort of, they're broken characters, and they have flaws and fallibilities, and yeah, we see Henry Fogg. Wow, that scene with Henry was just so telling of just how immense his disability is. And he actually admitted to Edith, he said, since I was 5, I taught myself how to do magic, and it's all I've ever known. And he's testing himself without any ability of his sight to cast again, and it's really quite heartbreaking to see that. But in the end, he can't even stop Mike, possessed by the beast, and Elliot has to snap his neck. He snaps his neck using his magic, his telekinesis. And yeah, it's really sad. You just see him start to cry, and I cried as soon as I saw that. I thought, oh, Elliot, God love you. You just can't get a break. And one minute Margot's gone into Alfina, or whatever that magical place was called, the Occulta. Actually, she goes to the Occulta without him and with Todd. Why did you use Todd? Hopefully Todd won't talk, but this gives me more of a reason to stay tuned for the next episode, as I'm curious as to where they're taking it. Because it's definitely darker than a lot of things that I've been entranced with before, but Lost Girl is as well. Grimm has definitely become more grim. I've been watching The Walking Dead, and it's definitely gotten pretty intense, more intense than usual. Game of Thrones was too, the final episode, even though my friend actually told me what's going to happen to Jon, but I'm not going to give away that spoiler. All you GOT fans already know this, so yeah. But I've been watching that, and that's pretty much all I've been up to, and including my scripts, and I have a new character that I've created. I've developed my first ever rainbow-haired character that I absolutely love. Her name's Prisma. Suits her personality. That's about all I have to report for now, so until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.